March 4th, 1193, Damascus. When the Sultan died, his treasury was opened. This was the man who had conquered Egypt. He had united Syria. He had taken Jerusalem from the most powerful armies in Europe. His empire stretched from the Nile to the Tigris. For decades, wealth had passed through his hands. But when the officials opened his personal treasury after his death, they discovered something astonishing. There was only one piece of gold and 47 pieces of silver. That was all. The ruler of a vast empire died with almost nothing. He had given it away to the poor, to widows, to soldiers who had nothing left after years of war. The man who commanded armies died almost like a beggar, and yet his name would echo across history for centuries. This is the story of that man, Salahuddin Yusuf ibn Ayyub. The world remembers him as Saladin. Imagine standing on the walls of Jerusalem. The date is September 87. Below the city walls, tens of thousands of soldiers wait in silence. Their banners move slowly in the desert wind. Their commander is a man many Europeans feared and misunderstood. You are a Crusader knight defending the city. You know what happened here 88 years earlier. In the year 1099, when the Crusaders captured Jerusalem, the city witnessed one of the bloodiest events of the Middle Ages. Many inhabitants were killed. Muslims and Jews alike suffered terribly. Now the Muslims have returned. Their army surrounds the city. You expect revenge. You expect massacre. You expect the same brutality that defined so many medieval wars. But something unexpected happens. A tent is set up between the two armies. A man walks out from the Muslim camp. He is not young. He looks tired, worn by years of war. Yet he walks calmly toward the gates of Jerusalem. This man does not demand slaughter. He offers peace. Instead of destroying the city, he negotiates. Instead of revenge, he chooses restraint. In an age defined by brutality, this decision shocked both sides. This man did not only conquer Jerusalem, he changed the meaning of victory. In a time of relentless warfare, even his enemies began to admire him. And one of those enemies was the most famous warrior king of Europe, Richard the Lionheart. Who was this man who inspired respect from both the Islamic world and the Christian world? Why did even his enemies describe him with admiration? To understand that, we must go back to the beginning. The year was 1137. The place was Tikrit, in what is today Iraq. It was here that Salahuddin Yusuf ibn Ayyub was born. His family was of Kurdish origin, belonging to the Rawadiya branch of the Hadabani Kurds. His father, Najm ad-Din Ayyub, and his uncle Shirkuh were military commanders who served powerful Muslim rulers of the region. At that time, the Middle East was deeply divided. The once powerful Islamic empires had fractured into competing states. At the same time, Crusader kingdoms controlled parts of the Levant, including Jerusalem. For many Muslims, the loss of Jerusalem was a painful symbol of division and weakness. But the young Saladin did not grow up dreaming of war. In fact, historical sources suggest something surprising. As a young man in Damascus, he was more interested in religion and scholarship than in military life. He studied theology. He listened to scholars. He loved poetry and historical writings. Those who knew him in his youth described him as thoughtful and reserved. Nothing about his early life suggested he would become one of the most famous commanders in history. But fate had other plans. In 1164, his uncle Shirkuh was ordered to lead a military expedition to Egypt. Egypt was in chaos. Political conspiracies, assassinations, and rival factions had weakened the government. Shirkuh decided to take his nephew with him. Saladin was 26 years old. According to some historical accounts, he was reluctant to go. He preferred the quiet life of study in Damascus. But sometimes history does not ask what we want. Sometimes it pulls us forward. And this journey to Egypt would change Saladin's life forever. The campaign in Egypt was dangerous and unpredictable. The Fatimid Caliphate, which ruled Egypt, was weak and unstable. Power struggles were constant. Viziers were assassinated. Political alliances shifted rapidly. Eventually, Shirkuh managed to seize control and became the new vizier of Egypt in 1169. But only 2 months later, he died unexpectedly. Suddenly, the most powerful political position in Egypt was empty. And standing nearby was a young man who few people considered a serious candidate, Saladin. To the surprise of many in the court, the Fatimid Caliph appointed Saladin as the new vizier. Many nobles believed he would be easy to control. They believed he lacked experience and political strength, but they underestimated him. Quietly and carefully, Saladin began strengthening his position. He reorganized the army. He built loyalty among soldiers. He removed corrupt officials from power. He was patient. He waited. Then, in 1171, the Fatimid Caliph died. With his death, the Fatimid Caliphate came to an end. Saladin restored Egypt's allegiance to the Sunni Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad. He had transformed from a reluctant administrator into the ruler of Egypt. And yet, what followed was unusual for that era. There was no mass purge. Different religious communities continued living in Egypt. Many administrators remained in their positions. This approach would become one of Saladin's defining characteristics: victory followed by restraint. But ruling Egypt was only the beginning. The Muslim world remained fragmented. Syria was controlled by the powerful Zengid dynasty. Technically, Saladin had once served them, but history was about to change again. In 1174, the great ruler Nur-ad-Din died. His death created a power vacuum across Syria. Saladin saw an opportunity. If the region remained divided, the Crusader states would remain strong. But if Egypt and Syria could unite, the balance of power would shift. Saladin marched north toward Damascus. Yet instead of destroying the city, something remarkable happened. The gates were opened to him peacefully. Many people believed he would bring stability after years of conflict. Over the next decade, Saladin gradually united much of the region. Through diplomacy, alliances, and military campaigns, he built what became known as the Ayyubi dynasty. Egypt, Syria, parts of Mesopotamia, a powerful new state had emerged. But his rise did not go unnoticed. There were enemies everywhere. One group in particular attempted to assassinate him multiple times: the secretive order known in Europe as the Assassins. On one occasion, an attacker came dangerously close, striking Saladin and wounding him. After that, Saladin rarely slept in the same tent twice. Every night carried danger. But his mission remained clear. Jerusalem was still under Crusader control, and for Saladin, that chapter of history was not finished.